We're going to try something new out today. I'm going to give a commentary in real time. I was on a little errand to Pontefract and thought I'd pop in and have a look at the castle. So it was built around 1070. Yeah, it's a really, really old castle. And I'm going to be taking you around. Pontefract means broken bridge in Latin, but the bridge has long since gone. I'll show you where Pontefract is on the map. It's a town in West Yorkshire, and it's about 20 miles from the city of Leeds. And this is what it looked like in its heyday. Not too shabby. Welcome to Shiny Boots. Thought I'd get the ASMR experience in there. We're only a minute in and I'm already doing a voiceover. There's a certain calibre of research on the Shiny Boots channel, and unfortunately Pontefract Castle did not deliver. Therefore I will be jumping in with the historical information you actually want to know, but I will be leaving in the comedy bits like this. What does this say? The steps beyond this gate lead to a well and not an elaborate network of tunnels linking local landmarks. Yeah, whatever. We don't believe that, do we? Hold that thought. Here's the historical timeline. We're in the 11th century. Around 1070, Ilbert de Lacy, who is a Norman baron, was granted land by William the Conqueror. And they said the first structure here was wooden. It was a wooden castle. The site was then known as Tanshelf and is recorded in the Domesday book, or Domesday, how it's written, of 1086. The Domesday book was a land survey ordered by William the Conqueror, where he basically went round all of the different counties and found out who owned the land, who needed to be taxed, and what structures were already present. 12th century. The castle is rebuilt in stone. Nobody knows when. 13th century. The castle plays a role in national politics as the de Lacy family support the Magna Carta of 1215, which was a document that limited royal power, giving more rights to the barons. 14th century. Alice de Lacy is married to Thomas, Earl of Lancaster. After he is executed, their estates get handed to royalty. So even after the Magna Carta, the castle ends up in royal hands anyway. Late 14th century. King Richard II dies at Pontefract Castle, likely starved or murdered. This event became legendary, and William Shakespeare later dramatised it in his play Richard II, helping to cement the castle's reputation as a place of royal betrayal and tragedy. 15th century was the War of the Roses, and Pontefract was a key stronghold. 16th century, the castle functioned mainly as a prison and administration centre. 17th century, Pontefract was one of the last royalist castles to hold out during the English Civil War. After its final surrender in 1649, Parliament ordered its demolition. 18th to 19th century, the castle fell into ruin. 20th century to present, now we're preserving it.
A few moments later.
The key to the north. Pontefract Castle was one of the most important castles in England. When Edward I proclaimed, "He who holds Pontefract holds the key to the north," the castle's importance continued to grow, especially under the ownership of John of Gaunt, the richest man in England. Never heard of him. John of Gaunt had another floor added to the top of the keep, clad in stone to disguise the join. At 3 floors high, not including the undercroft and underground passages. Hang on a minute. Didn't it say over there that there's no underground passages? Get your story straight. and with an additional crenellated gallery on the roof, this impressive structure would have been visible for miles around. Yeah, because we're so high up. I think this is still one of the highest structures in Pontefract. I can see everywhere. I can see for miles. Pontefract Castle became a royal castle on the death of John of Gaunt in 1399 when the Duchy? How do you say that word? Of Lancaster passed to Richard II, and it is still in royal ownership now. I sincerely hope you're laughing at my douchey comment. I've actually never said that word before, but what I will say is that I got it from the French, duché, which means duke. Although a duchy isn't a person. Some of you may know a duchy as something else. But in this royal case, it's territory or land owned by the Duke or Duchess. And who is the Duke of Lancaster now? It is King Charles III. This castle still belongs to royalty. It makes sense. This is why it's going to connect to William the Conqueror. Right, so genealogy. I am currently making another video as we speak. It is a lot of editing. I am playing all of the music in it, which is very exciting, and I'm enjoying the process. And in that video, I am looking at the genealogy of the family who own this castle. So we'll be looking at another castle. And as I typed it in to have a little search, what comes up? Oh, the genealogy of the royal family. And who's at the top? Guess who's at the top? William the Conqueror. This is what I'm referring to. This was the poster that came up in the search. William the Conqueror is at the top with Matilda, I'm assuming his wife. And there are all his kids, leading down to Edward III. And there's John of Gaunt. Had a little look to find out how he was the wealthiest man, because he wasn't a king. But he did get his inheritance from Edward III, who was his dad. And then he married Blanche of Lancaster. And yep, she had all of this land. John of Gaunt. I'm thinking, is he called that because of the way he looks? No, it's because Gaunt is an anglicised version of Ghent. Ghent is featured in Civitatis Orbis Terrarum. I'm very excited about that. I know some of you are too. And there's our usual star fort. Ghent was called Gandavum in 1577, which apparently is from the Celtic language, meaning confluence. Con with fluere, flow. Confluence is where two rivers meet. Ghent was in a county called Flanders, and Matilda, who was married to William the Conqueror, was Matilda of Flanders. So 300 years later, there's someone else from the Flanders region who is within the royal family. And not only that, he's the richest man in England. So the French came over and they gave all of the land to their mates. And that's where our history starts. In Britain, Great Britain, Britannia, United Kingdom, England, whatever we're called. Oh, here we go. Medieval toilets, drains and mines. This was the Constable Tower, a large square tower with thick walls projecting 6 metres beyond the curtain wall. The garde-robe. I've done it again and said the word in French. It's a garde-robe, is what we say in English, which does translate to wardrobe. And the name probably comes from the practice of storing robes in the toilet area so that the smell of ammonia would deter moths and other insects. That could be quite confusing at a dinner party. Can you show me where the garde-robe is, please? And you end up throwing your coat right down the toilet shaft within the left-hand wall, emptied straight into the outer ditch. an extra deterrent for would-be attackers. So, okay, they're still saying that there's just poo everywhere. Yeah. These walls full of feces. The remains of a fireplace can be seen on the right-hand side of the tower. Oh, that's here. There you go. Fireplace. Fireplace next to the toilet. Yeah. And the hole to the right of the fireplace was used as a drain to dispose of waste from the constable's kitchens. During the civil wars, the garrison slept in the tower. It was also one of the 3 known locations of deep shafts, known as countermines, used for detecting parliamentary attempts to undermine the walls from the outside. Oh, there they are, digging. Digging away. Their shovels, because that's all they had. They only had shovels. So, yeah. Oh, look at that. Perfectly square. When you believe that you're the most intelligent, you think everyone else was doing things with no purpose. And if you think everyone else is stupid, then clearly they were making mistakes and they didn't know what they were doing, and there was no logic to their thinking. What is this? A Victorian water filter. Victorian? Right, so it would turn rainwater into drinking water. Again, like, pretty advanced. It's pretty advanced, isn't it? A Roman coffin, excavated. Okay, so that's the water filter. Ladybird. And then a Roman coffin, excavated in 1882. Thomas of Lancaster. Oh, it was thought that it belonged to Thomas of Lancaster, but this isn't true apparently. Nobody knows who it did belong to. Oh, here we go. Can you see pink stonework? Oh yeah. This burnt stone shows where the fires and ovens were located in the great kitchens. During the civil wars, the large ovens were adapted for metalworking. They were used to repair armour and weapons, and a musket mould for remaking lead shot. During the third siege of the civil wars, Pontefract Castle issued siege money. The silver lozenge-shaped coins were used to pay troops. The clipped edges of these siege pieces have been found near the ovens, suggesting that the kitchen was also a mint. Let's have a little look. Okay, so what? This is where they're saying the oven was. Right. Okay. So I'm not entirely sure what those other things were. Circular bits. Over here. What do you think they would have been used for? High up enough? Oh, they kind of look pink as well. When you've done this research for a while, it becomes obvious that not everything is as it seems, and we've clearly been lied to. Where the question for us becomes, to what extent? people who are still in the camp of believe in the narrative do so because they don't understand how this could have been pulled off. The why is obvious, power and control, but how did they do it? And this is why my research is taking the direction of families. Who's connected to who? Who's changing their name? We're going to see a lot of that in the next video. Who's making the maps? Who, like William the Conqueror, is in charge of the deeds? And most importantly, who benefits as a result? Because corruption has always existed, as well as protecting family names and assets. How far would a family go to maintain that power? We're definitely going to find that out in the next one. Here's a little clue where we'll be. I thank you all for watching. I have been blown away by the response from the last video. Please like and subscribe, and I'd love to know your thoughts and any recommendations of where to go boots on the ground. I wish you all a lovely day, and I'll catch you in the next one.